good, y'all? What's going on? It's Dash, your girl, you already know. Today we're here to talk about the basics. This is our Back to Basics series. This is part 1, episode 1, correct? The part 1, episode 1? Yes. And today we're going to start with brushes because tools are so important and tools are what are going to set you up for success. And not a lot of people know how to use the proper tools. You know what I'm saying? Also, disclaimer, brushes have no rules. So I'm going to tell y'all what I use brushes for, what the guidelines are, but really you do whatever the hell you want. You know, I ain't sitting here telling you what to do, okay? I'm just telling you what would make for a more flattering application, okay? So I got some brushes right here. This is really cute. This is from Tarte. I have some brushes here, and I honestly, there's a little bit of everything here. There's some synthetic brushes, some natural hair brushes. I love a mix of both, natural hair and synthetic. I also do like to use a beauty blender sometimes for most creams and cream liquid. Why am I thinking that there's another texture? It's just cream and liquid. Yeah, for most cream and liquid products. I love to use a beauty blender, something bouncy. She dusty because I was just using her. But yes, the beauty blender, you use it wet. Frequently asked question. It happens. I used to work at Sephora. I used to get people all the time ask, how do you use it? You wet it. They're like, it looks so small. I thought it was supposed to be bigger. Did I get the right one? Am I getting the wrong one? No. You just wet it. You wet it, right? And it just makes it more porous. It makes it bigger and squishier. You squeeze out the excess water. I like to take a Bounty and squeeze it around it to just trap all the excess water, because what can happen when you leave it too wet, it can start to lift foundation. Fun fact. But when you use it wet, it opens up the pores enough so that it can absorb the excess product. Right? So she's nice and squishy in the center, but the outer part is nice and soft enough for it to absorb the excess product. So if you're someone who's heavy-handed, you love using full coverage, go ahead and use one of these because it's going to help you shear it out. If you have texture, you might like a sponge just because it's going to help to lay that texture down. In some previous videos, I spoke about peach fuzz texture in the face. It's natural. I shave my face and women don't, right? So and sometimes, girl, like in the times we in right now where I can't get my face razors at the beauty supply, you go with the peach fuzz. In that case, you take the beauty blender and you just pat it down to lay that texture down. If you use it dry, it's gonna absorb all of your product. Yeah, it's counterproductive. It's gonna feel very dry. It's gonna absorb all your product and it's not gonna move it around. When it's moist, it's gonna move it around. If you have dry skin, think eczema, rosacea, flaky skin, or anything of the sorts, the extra hydration from the beauty blender is going to help to further hydrate and soothe your skin and make sure that everything goes out nice and smooth. So that's what the beauty blender does. Some people have their aversions to beauty blenders just because of, hygiene and shit like that. For me, I like to use it on myself. For clients, I do like a brush, with a little disinfectant spray on the side. I can clean up easily. And disposable sponges are great too, but for myself, I personally like a beauty blender. Now, brushes. Some of my favorite brand of brushes include Real Techniques, Morphe brushes, Tarte, and the first brush that I got to start talking about is Real Techniques. Because Real Techniques, I have some of these are new. There are brushes over there that I have that are like 5 years old that you will see me use still to this day because I'm so just attached to them. But the old handles used to have the barrel and then it was a black little edge. But now they're updated and they have a whole new packaging handle, but the bristles remain the same. It's the same quality that I love and remember. But I've had these brushes, the powder brushes, for about 5 years. So good. I should have brought it out here, but my couch is blocking the way to the room. Small space. So yeah, this is great for blush, but you can also use it for bronzer. But you can also use it for anything that's a powder, anything that's illuminating, anything that's just to set. You can use this for. Why? Because it's very flexible. So this is a synthetic brush. This is not a natural hair brush, but it's very flexible. The fact that it's very flexible, depending on your preference, that's going to help you further disperse the product evenly across your skin. If you want to apply a bronzer, this might be a good product to apply it with because it's not enormous, right? It's not as big as this brush right here. So this is a powder brush right here. This one, she from NARS. She from NARS. Yeah, she from NARS. She don't got a number, but she from NARS. She got a red bottom. That's how you know she from NARS. But this one is great for powder. This is a natural hair brush. So this one's going to be even softer than this one. It's going to be almost flimsy because that's what natural hair brushes are supposed to be, very flexible, just to be able to move things around a little more. I like a synthetic brush sometimes. I find with a natural hair brush, It can pick up product, so you have to be just very light with it. Sometimes natural hair brushes can be a little bit more brittle, whereas synthetic brushes are sometimes designed to be a little softer. This is a dual fiber brush. Anything that you see that has this black color and is kind of ombre and transitions into something white is called the dual fiber brush. Those brushes are designed to be antibacterial. Well, I know at least the Real Techniques, I can't speak for all the other brushes, and also not absorb so much of your product, you know? And you can also see how much product you're picking up. So that is the Real Techniques number 400 blush brush that I use for blush, I use for bronzer, and so many other things. If you just want to warm up the skin, it's honestly so soft. I love it. It's never going to lift your product. Now, Tarte, oh my God. Tarte, I'm going to talk to y'all for a second because y'all got me mad this past year. I love y'all, but y'all got me mad this past year. The reason why you always come out with an amazing brush set, right? And she was cute. The brush set, I liked it. The one that y'all came out with recently for the 2019. But, oh my God, 2016, 2017, and 2018, Tarte was coming out with brushes. Oh my God. And look, I got them right here. They were coming out with brush sets that were absolutely amazing, and they were so cute. They would come with these little stands for you to actually put your brushes in, so you didn't even have to buy a whole stand for it. And the price point for the quality was not bad. I think I paid I was a Sephora employee, so I got the discount, you know what I'm saying? And we used to get around the Christmas time, 1% on top of the percent we got. So I paid like a good $20 for a set of 5 amazing brushes that I still have and love and use for foundation, and mainly cream products because they are synthetic brushes. So like something like this is beautiful to blend out your contour because of the shape. Right? This is gonna fit beautifully underneath your cheekbones right there, right? It's not something that's overwhelming. When you're doing your contour, and something we'll talk about later on when we get into that back to basics video, bronzer and contour, it just helps to fit into those crevices. I mean, look at your face, the size of your face. There are big brushes, medium brushes, small brushes, but really assess your face shape. Some people have wider faces, some people have slimmer faces, some people have rounder faces, some people have square faces. It really depends on you. So look at the brush and see what's gonna best fit into those crevices in your face. When you're in the store, just, make a little simulation for yourself. Like, is this gonna fit there? Yes. Because if it's too big, it's gonna be a mess. Now, another brush from Real Techniques that I really like, and I use this, okay. So first of all, fan brushes, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let y'all finish, but I don't really care for y'all. I don't really care for fan brushes until I stumbled across the Real Techniques brush. So this is the Real Techniques 420 fan brush. And I have a few other Real Techniques brushes that are older and from some sets that I keep in my kit because I love. They're just the way they're built, they're not super flimsy, right? And they blend like a dream. Like y'all gonna see me one day. I'm gonna use this to blend like my I know it sounds crazy, but to blend out my concealer. One day I was working, this girl was like, girl, I gotta ask you, child, because I just seen you use that that fan brush to blend the sister's concealer. What? O sea, ¿qué? Como se dice, like, what you doing? And I was like, well, it's really soft. The bristles are not brittle at all. So it just blends like a dream. Mature skin, oh my God, mature skin. You really want to make sure you're gently blending that concealer into those fine lines, girl. Highly recommend. It's just so soft for any cream or liquid or powder product. I have blended out my cream highlight on my skin with this. I have went ahead and blended out my nose contour with this because she's nice and thin. I don't like fan brushes for highlighter. When highlight was a main, like when highlight went mainstream and everybody was like, oh my God, highlighter, everybody was flocking to the stores for fan brushes. For me, they're counterproductive for highlighting because it just makes all of the shimmer just fall on your cheeks. I don't use powder highlighters anymore. For the most part, I use creams. So that's why I like this for that, because she's synthetic and she's gonna lay it down nicely. And because she's so soft, she's not gonna lift product. And to blend any kind of creams, I'm telling you, highly recommend. All right. Now, small brushes are so important. So important. And I'm not talking about like small brushes like this, like eye brush. I'm talking about small face brushes are so important. Small face brushes are so pivotal in your application. I'm gonna show y'all a few. And like, you want to keep like a few. If you makeup lover, you want finesse your face, and you're like me, that I use 50,000 things to apply things, then get you some small brushes. And these are all, there's some from Crown brushes here. There's some from Morphe. But see, these are not overwhelmingly big. These brushes are going to set you up for success, for blush, for contour. So the same way we spoke about this synthetic brush, right, which is amazing for blending out like cream contour, for example. For powder, bronzer, anything that you may want to add a little bit extra dimension in your skin with, this is going to be perfect for that because it's going to fit into those areas and you can build that dimension very lightly. With bronzer or contour, you don't want to pick up a brush like this and try to blend it out because can we just look at how much surface area that takes up? So first of all, I want my contour to be here, right? Yeah, I want it to be here. But this brush, she not helping me out because she gonna bring my contour all the way down here. What's that gonna do? In front of the camera, y'all would see it would just widen my face more. It would just make me look droopy. It would look muddy. It wouldn't look right? Whereas something like this, she's nice and small. You can very easily build. And also the way you hold your brush is very important. Hold it upwards and it just fits. You know what I'm saying? It just fits in that hollow of your cheek. So all of these are great for that. I love something that's a little bit more domed and fluffy like this one. This is the Morphe M529 brush. This is the Morphe M554 brush, and this one I like for setting underneath the eyes. So for setting underneath the eyes, because it's very flexible so it doesn't jab underneath my eyes, I do like to use a beauty blender to bake. What is baking? It's when we take the setting powder and set underneath our eyes with our sponge. But recently I've really been into baking like that. So I've been using a brush just to keep things very natural, and I really take the brush and press the powder into my skin. For me, I find that when I just use the brush and blend it underneath my eyes like so, it just provides an even distribution. Same thing with all of these. This one is beautiful. This is the Morphe E48 brush. This is nice and domed, beautiful for blush. Or also when I do apply my cream highlighter with a beauty blender on the high points of my face, but you can also use a brush, a small brush. This is also great for highlight because it's gonna fit right on that high point of your face. Again, if you use something like this, you ain't going nowhere. You're gonna look like the Tin Man. That's not cute. She gonna look sweaty. That's not what we going for. We wanna look healthy, hydrated, radiant, right? So use a smaller brush and that's gonna help you get into those, that high point, that tip of your nose in a way that's very delicate. It should be delicate. So essentially anything that is like this, see all these synthetic brushes, these can be used for anything cream and anything liquid. Because it's very dense, it's gonna, well, not very dense. For example, let me show y'all the difference between the density of the brushes because that's important too. This brush is super dense. Y'all see you see that? She's a little thicker. This one is dense, but a little more flexible. So if you like more of a medium full coverage, you might like something like this. You like a full girl, this is what you want. But this is gonna help to blend the product out and evenly distribute. So that's just something to take in mind when you're choosing your tools. Again, I shift back and forth between creams and liquids with these. I love brushes like this too. So this is the Real Techniques the number's coming off. I believe it's 429. 429 or 427. I don't know. Real Techniques, feel free to comment and clarify though. But this brush is great for blending out your concealer underneath the eyes. And also, there are times that I just want to set my under eye because I'm prone to creasing. I crease no matter what. We'll talk about that later on. But this is going to help me get into those This brush is going to help me get into those fine lines and really press the powder in there to ensure that she stays put and she don't crease. Now we're going to get into some smaller brushes. Eye brushes. Eye brushes I think are the most confusing. Like I think probably even more confusing than face brushes because you have so many different kinds and so many different shapes. The same way you do for face, but I feel like for eyes it's just times 1,000 because you got brushes like this. You got this little flat top situation. You got this dome situation. This flat angle thing. When I first started doing makeup, I said, what is all of this? Look like needles. This is for eyeliner. Use this for a lip. See, there's so many different ones, and then it's like because they're smaller you automatically think it's for the eyes. So something like this you would go ahead and automatically think you're going to use it for the eyes, but really she's for the lip. You know what I'm saying? Something like this, great for eyeliner, beautiful for eyeliner. It's going to help you with precision too. Something like this can also be used for eyeliner or your brows. This is great to use with a gel liner or your brows. This is the Real Techniques smudge liner brush. And this is the number 17, really good. This came as part of a set, and this one has no number. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And this one just says Morphe. Yeah. But this one here is the Morphe Morphe E13 brush. This one is great for blending the outer corners of your eyes, getting definition in your eyes. This one is more of, I believe this is a synthetic brush. This is a Wet n Wild brush from the drugstore that's really, really flexible and great for just blending out the edges to ensure that you don't have any harsh lines. So smaller tools are always going to set you up for success. When you want to build dimension, you're wanting to go for something a little bit bigger. Like, this is a fluffy blending eye brush. This is the Morphe M531. This is, oh my God, an amazing blending brush. It's big, it covers a lot of surface area. For your transition color, like the first color that you choose to apply on your lids to create dimension, right? To create a little bit of depth. This is what you would use just to put that color on all over and just create that dimension and warmth, honestly. And if you wanted to keep it very simple, use this one big fluffy brush and blend your shadow. And it's better than taking the shadow and just kind of like striping it there with that little plastic applicator that it comes with. That don't really fly no more. Something like this, okay, and she cheap too. She probably, I'm not gonna say no price, I don't know off the top of my head, but she's cheap. She's us $10 and she's really, really good and super, super blendable. Now, when you're wanting to create depth on the outer corner of your eyes, like for example, if I wanted to create depth on my outer corner here, right? Just maintain that color there. This is a great brush for that. It's not too big, it's not too small, and you just wanna have some control and keep the color there. So this is great for that. This one, like I said, great for blending out any harsh lines. So something like this I would take and go along the edges of my shadow just to ensure that she's nice and blended, right? And again, recap, great for liner. Also great for dip brow. If you're like a dip brow girl and you use like an Anastasia dip brow or anything that's like a gel pomade for your eyebrows, this is amazing for that because it's nice and stiff. There are a lot of flat angle brushes that are very flimsy. That's not going to help you, especially if you're working with creams, just because you like for it to be a little stiffer so you can control the product a little more, especially when working with like a dip brow gel. Let's see what other brush I got. Double-ended brushes are also a really great option for anyone who doesn't want to sit here and think about 50,000 brushes at once and probably wants to condense their collection. So this just tackles two birds with one stone. This one is great for, honestly, never use this side, but this side is bomb for blush and great for also highlighter because she's very flexible, so like a nice little blush illuminator. And this is also something that I would probably apply my cream highlight with too because she's nice and flexible. Oh, I saved these for last, girl. Because, oh, and I just want to show you guys these too. Okay. These are some of my favorite kind of brushes for blending the outer corner or for building any dimension in the lid. These are all Morphe brushes. This one is no name, no name, no name, because they old as shit. So excuse me, Morphe, but listen, I love y'all. Oh, she fell in the bin, lit, not on the floor. But yeah, these are really, really good for that. They're nice and small and they fit on the outer corner like a dream. Now, the last kind of brushes, the last two brushes I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about them because, listen, I'm from New York, right? And you don't have to be from New York to know everybody going through it right now. Rent is expensive. Living is expensive. Breathing is expensive, child. So I cannot fathom really spending over. I'm cheap when it comes to like, no, because when you have amazing brands like Morphe Real Techniques, like you gonna tell me I could spend $7.99 on a brush? Well, I think that's $7.99 on a brush, and then it's gonna be amazing. Then I'm gonna keep spending $7.99 on a brush and not know $50. But let me tell you something about Artis brushes. That's Artis brushes. I know y'all know the ones. The one that look like brushes. Like hair brushes. I talked so much shit, y'all. Tell you what, I talk so much. I'm broke, right? Anybody broke gonna talk wild shit, right? They can't afford nothing before they even get to use it. But you know what? We all have those times where you just try that one thing and it's like, you know what? You worth the money. You worth the money. So Artis brushes are the fucking shit, okay? I think they're like $50 to $60, but they're freaking insane. I don't even know what to say. But, because it's weird, you have to feel it. It just feels like it's so smooth. Like, these brushes are amazing. I love these. But this And this hit very different. They hit very different. This is just very smooth. When you apply your foundation, contour, concealer, anything with this cream blush, it just goes on very airbrushed. And it's just so smooth. I'm at a loss for words. This never happens with stuff. But no, these brushes are absolutely amazing. And I thought that they would be, honestly, when I first saw this style of brush, I was like, ugh. You know, you go to TJ Maxx and you see the cheap ones, but that's the cheap ones, honey. Them ain't, I was gonna say them ain't shit. Them brushes ain't all that. These are it. If you really want to invest in something that's luxury, you just want to get you something fun for you. You know, I want to invest in this for your kid, but for yourself, it's your birthday, girl. You want to go ahead and get some good brushes, some luxe brushes. Get you some Artis brushes. This one is great for foundation, contour, cream blush, concealer, anything of the sorts. It blends things like a dream. But my absolute favorite brush is the Kabuki Palm brush. The Kabuki Palm brush, sis is cute. Sis is the one that we know, we see often, but sis over here is everything. She fits in the palm of my hand, literally, and she blends like a dream. Applying my foundation with this literally takes less than 5 minutes. It shouldn't even take like 5 minutes. It definitely takes less than 5 minutes. This stuff is really, really good. It never leaves any streaks, and that's always been a main concern of a lot of people. For a lot of people, a main concern is, well, won't brushes leave streaks? Not these. These are, you spending $50 to $60 on a brush, child, you getting your money's worth, okay? Because she feel like a cushion, like a Tempur-Pedic bed is what she feel like on my hand, okay? So, highly recommend. So that was it for this episode of the series. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any further questions about brushes, listen, I could talk for days. Let's have a conversation. Let me know in the comment section down below what you feel like I didn't touch on, and I'll make sure that I touch on it and shout you out too. So let me know what you want to see. Looking forward to the next one. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy, wash y'all hands. I got a dash now, so I'm gonna catch y'all. Bye.